Welcome back. In our last explainer, we broke down the basics of effective meetings. Well, today, we're taking it to the next level. We're zeroing in on the high-stakes legal world where what happens after the meeting, the debrief, can literally make or break a case. We're going to talk about how to get the real, crucial facts from a colleague after they've met with a client. Let's dive right in. Okay, so picture this. Your colleague finally walks out of a marathon 2-hour consultation with a huge client. They look totally drained. You've got to get the download, and you need it fast. What's the very first thing you ask them?
Yeah, if you're like pretty much everyone else, it's going to be some version of this, right? How to go, or maybe good meeting. It feels natural, it's friendly, but in the legal world,
That's a big problem. Why? Because that question gets you a feeling, not a fact. It gets you an answer like, it was okay, or it got pretty tense. You can't build a case strategy, you can't draft a motion, and you certainly can't create an accurate billing record based on okay. We need facts. We need precision.
so what's the secret weapon here? It's actually ridiculously simple. It's a tool you learned back in grade school, the simple past tense. That's it. By framing our questions around what did happen, we force the conversation away from those fuzzy, subjective feelings and toward cold, hard, objective facts. This is the key that unlocks a truly powerful legal debrief. And to make this super easy to remember and use, we're going to break it down into this simple 3-step framework. First, we'll cover the logistics to set the scene. Then, we'll dive into the core discussion to get all the substantive details. And we'll wrap up with the outcomes to make sure the path forward is crystal clear.
All right, let's start with step 1, the logistics. Now, I know this might feel like the boring administrative stuff, but trust me, getting the context right is the foundation for building a solid, defensible record of what actually happened. Here's a perfect example. Asking this isn't just about taking attendance. The answer tells you who heard the advice firsthand, who is now on the hook for the decisions that were made, and, maybe most importantly, who wasn't there and now needs a very careful, separate briefing. This is all about controlling the information flow from the very beginning.
And think about the long-term implications of this one. Knowing who kept the official record is so important. Are our notes the official version? Is the client's version the official one? Because if a dispute ever comes up down the road, figuring out which set of notes is the official record can be a massive point of contention. And something as basic as the end time? Yeah, of course, it's for billing, but it also helps you build a precise, verifiable timeline. If you ever have to reconstruct the events of a day for a court or for a client, these little factual details suddenly become incredibly valuable. Okay, on to step 2, the core discussion. Now that we've set the stage, we can get to the good stuff. What actually was said and decided in that room? Just look at how powerful this question is. Did the client agree? It demands a yes or no, period. There's no wiggle room, no ambiguity. This isn't, so I think they're on board. It's a hard data point that confirms a critical decision was made. This is such a great follow-up. It's not just about what was decided, it's about why. When you understand the other party's rationale, their justification, it gives you a huge advantage because you can anticipate their next moves and start crafting your own counter-arguments. Ooh, I love this one. This question is all about capturing raw, unfiltered information. You're asking for that immediate gut reaction before anyone had a chance to put a spin on it or craft a careful response. That initial reaction can tell you more about their true priorities than a prepared statement ever will. And this is a perfect example of how we can even turn something subjective, like tone, into useful data. See, instead of asking, how did it feel, we ask, was the tone tense? By using the simple past, you frame it as an objective observation. This isn't about your colleague's feelings anymore. It's a strategic assessment of the room that you can use later.
And that brings us to our final step. Step 3, the outcomes. The meeting might be over, but the work is really just getting started. This part is all about making sure there's absolute clarity and accountability for everything that happens next. This is so important for internal alignment. Before you even think about firing off an email to opposing counsel or filing something with the court, you have to be 100% sure that your own team is on the exact same page. This question locks in that commitment.
This is just non-negotiable. You know, a meeting without clear action items is often just a waste of everyone's billable hours. This question forces the conversation from vague ideas into concrete tasks that are assigned to specific people. That's the bedrock of accountability.
And here's a perfect example of nailing down the immediate follow-up. Was it a draft agreement, a summary memo, a specific piece of research? Getting this detail right means you're being responsive, and more importantly, that no critical, time-sensitive task falls through the cracks.
So let's just put it all together and look at this side by side. On the left, you've got the questions that get you, well, feelings and vague ideas. And on the right, you have precise questions using the simple past that get you actionable facts. What's the plan? Becomes what key action items did the group assign? Are they on board? Becomes did the client agree with the new budget proposal? The difference in the quality of the information you get back is just night and day.
So what do you need to remember from all this? It really boils down to 4 things. First, just ditch "how did it go" for good. Second, make the simple past tense your absolute go-to for debriefing. Third, use that 3-step framework, logistics, discussion, outcomes, to structure your thinking. And finally, remember that every single question you ask should be a hunt for a specific, concrete fact.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think back to the last time you had to get up to speed on a client meeting. Using this new framework, what's the one crucial factual detail that you might have totally missed simply because you asked the wrong question?